whoever is greatest in the kingdom of heaven is the one who becomes like a child. We cannot even enter the kingdom of heaven unless we are like children. What's going to happen? We die. Do we have to become like children in purgatory? Probably. If we're not like children by the end of our life, we'll learn it in purgatory, then enter heaven. Likely what our Lord is saying here. What is it like to be a child? Especially dependency on God. We can do nothing without Jesus, nothing without God. We can't bear any fruit without God, without God's grace. Without God doing it in us, really. It's not us, it's God doing in us. We have to be totally dependent on Jesus for success throughout the day, throughout our life, for our transformation into Jesus and Mary. We depend totally on God, always looking up to Him like little chicks in the nest, always looking up to their mother, like little children, always looking up to their parents. Jesus said, "I am meek and humble of heart. Imitate me." Meekness and humility. So can you say Jesus was like a child? I would say so. Children are meek and humble. They don't think much of themselves. They don't think that they are important. They don't attribute importance to themselves. Other qualities of children, joyfulness. We should be certainly joyful. Children are joyful because they trust in their parents, that their parents have everything taken care of. They have all their needs taken care of. So we should always be joyful, knowing that God will always take care of us, protect us, fulfill His promises. We should be very joyful. All Christians should be very joyful. And so we can study children, their virtues, their natural virtues. Saint Therese, Carmelite nun, her little way, study her the little way. She wanted to be like so little in the hands of her caretakers when she was really sick and she was really bedridden. She was like docile, so docile in the hands of her superiors and even her other sisters. So docility, is a key quality. I don't know if St. Edith Stein knew much about St. Therese of the Child Jesus. I don't remember reading much about her being devoted to St. Therese, but she must have learned about her. St. Edith Stein, St. Teresa Benedicta of the Cross, was a Jewish woman who became Catholic after studying philosophy and phenomenology under her famous professor, Edmund Husserl, who was not a Christian. He studied this phenomenology, which was really a study of the experiences that we have in the world, which is really like a study of reality, study of the world that really exists, truth outside of us, objective reality. Phenomenology is like that, and Pope John Paul II was a phenomenologist as well. There were a lot of Christians who were phenomenologists, philosophers who became Christian because studying reality, believing in the truth outside of us makes us Christian, because Christians believe in the reality that God made. She had friends who were Protestant Christians, one whose husband died, and she went to visit this woman and saw her peace and her resignation to the death of her husband and was amazed by it. Another one, Protestant apparently, had a biography of St. Teresa of Avila, and she took it and read it in one night. Said at the end, "This is the truth." She said, "This is the truth." And Teresa of Avila was a Carmelite, the foundress of the Carmelites sisters, and so it's not surprising that Teresa Benedicta wanted to not only take her name but enter the Carmelites, and she did. later on, probably another 10, 12 years afterwards, advised by various priests not to become a Carmelite too soon. Her mother, of course, was devastated that she became a Catholic. She was baptized and became a Catholic, and imagine her devastation after she found out she wanted to become a nun. After she became a Carmelite, she would write to her mother, but her mother wouldn't write back to her. And at some point, her mother died, and St. Edith Stein said that she died with faith in God, and she believed that she had gone to heaven, and that she was there praying for her. That was the opinion of a saint, that her Jewish mother, who had faith and lived it, she was a good, faithful Jewish mother, hard worker, took care of her children after her husband died, the father of Edith Stein. The mother took over taking care of the children. So with this hope for non-Catholics. So Edith Stein, we know, died in the concentration camps, and she grew up in Germany and entered the Carmelite convent in Cologne in Germany. But when the Nazis took over, her superiors sent her over to the Netherlands, which wasn't too far to the west. And there the Dutch bishops were condemned, had a public condemnation of what the Nazis were doing, deporting the Jews. And so in retaliation, Hitler had the Jews in the Netherlands rounded up, especially the Catholic converts, because the bishops wrote this letter. And Edith Stein was one of them, and also Edith Stein's sister, who converted, Rosa, converted to Catholicism and was there at the convent too. I think she was like an extern sister or something. And so they were both rounded up and put in a train, a really horrible, filthy train, and they were trained over to Poland all that way in this horrible boxed up train where they had no sanitation, hardly could breathe, all the way to Poland in Auschwitz, where she was killed, seems immediately upon arrival. And Edith Stein really said, she tried to convert her professor, Edmund Husserl, to Christianity and didn't have much success. And she really came to the conclusion that it was the cross, suffering and offering oneself up for others, that really brings about conversion. She was really enamored by the cross and the power of the cross to really convert, really bring about change in the world. So we can really learn from her teaching on the cross. She wrote about the cross. She wrote a book on St. John of the Cross, as well as a story of her family, what it's like to grow up in a Jewish family. She wrote that as a Catholic and as a sister, a nun. She wrote a lot about true feminism in the church, how women should live their Catholic faith. So we ask for her powerful intercession today.